If you are moving to St. Louis, I realize there are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff going through your mind and a lot of questions that sometimes you need answers to before you even start the process. So in this video, I'm gonna go over and address the top 5 questions that we get a lot based on our experience from people moving to St. Louis, especially through this channel, from things like how to, strategize, finding the right area for you, how we're doing things virtually, especially since COVID, buying versus renting, overview of the market, and just, navigating how to build connections, especially if you're not from here. So let's get right to it. Hey, welcome to the channel, or welcome back. My name is Jacob Peistrup, and hey, real quick, if you're moving to St. Louis, if you want some help buying a house, buying a condo, my team and I are licensed realtors. That is what we're here for. Send us an email, send us a text, let's get in touch. Full transparency, a lot of these questions have come from clients that we've talked to from this channel. So that's kind of where we're basing these questions off. The first really big question, finding the right area, right? If you're not from St. Louis, if you've never even been here, how do you find the right area that you can actually see yourself living in? That is the toughest thing. Once you figure that out, it's smooth sailing. But I mean, really, St. Louis is a metro area with 2.8 million people and 12 counties. There's a lot to pick from. I'm gonna be very honest, you have to come here. You have to plan a trip, whether it's a weekend, a week, or 2 weeks in St. Louis. You gotta make a trip, get a rental car, drive around, especially if you reach out to us. We will have you drive a lot of places, go through a lot of different neighborhoods, have breakfast, lunch, dinner at different places in different areas of St. Louis, because you really have to get a sense of what the area looks like. And sometimes the best way to find what you like is by driving around and finding what you don't like. It is very difficult to navigate this by doing everything virtually. And I'll be the first to tell you, these YouTube videos are not enough to give you a real sense of what areas you might actually live in. I mean, yes, they're a really good start, and I try to speak broad and in general terms to give you a good overall sense. But I mean, guys, there are so many nuances, there are so many different neighborhoods, different price points, and different things to check out, where we've had people come here and, drive through Chesterfield or Clayton and say, hey, I didn't like it. It kind of seemed like dead, nothing much going on. And I'm like, well, okay, where'd you drive through? What'd you go check out? And they'll say this, and that. And I'm like, okay, but you missed the best parts. You missed the best malls and the best restaurants. And it's like, if you don't see the right stuff when you're here, you're gonna walk away with a very different perception of what it looks like. So you gotta come to town, you gotta drive, you gotta walk around and just get a sense of what you like and what you don't like. Now, you don't have to come here and expect to look at houses, write offers, and make a final decision. Because honestly, once you at least know the area that you're interested in, it makes it a lot easier to actually be able to write offers and do virtual showings and, figure out if a house is the right one for you or not. Even if you haven't seen it in person, if you've seen the neighborhood, if you've seen the town that it's in, it makes things a hell of a lot easier for you to feel comfortable saying, okay, you know what? This one, I like it a lot. I haven't seen it in person, but I went through this neighborhood and I like it. It also really depends on if you're a visual person. Do you want to see stuff, on a map? Do you want us to send you the blogs, the articles, the statistics if you want to read it over instead of seeing it in person? There's a lot that goes into it. And it's also, if you tell us, okay, where do you have to be for work? Where do your kids have to go to school? Where do you like to go for fun? And what do you prefer as far as urban, suburban, or rural? If you answer those, we can give you your top probably 3 or 4 areas you want to focus on. Come to town, drive through them. We'll give you neighborhoods to go tour, and then you can tell us, okay, hey, I love this, and this, but not this, or hey, I really like this aspect of these suburbs. And I can tell you, okay, great. If you love that small little downtown feel, you gotta check out Kirkwood, Webster Groves, historic St. Charles, any of those places. That's what you'll get. That's the thing, we've gotten so good at asking the right questions and narrowing this down to a science of, if you tell us what you like, what you don't like, We can point you in the right direction and describe these areas to you as someone who's never been here before to help you understand what the differences actually are. So kind of going off of that, virtual showings, doing things remotely if you don't live in St. Louis and you're not gonna come to St. Louis to look at houses. So here's the really big thing. A lot of our clients, especially through this channel, yes, we do a lot of virtual showings, meaning that people aren't here physically to see the house when they write an offer. But what's very common is that they've already made a trip to St. Louis beforehand, they know the area and they know the neighborhood, so they feel much better about actually writing an offer. And then we always recommend, once it's accepted, come to town either for the inspections, the appraisal, the final walkthrough. Come at some point just to see it in person once the offer is accepted. Now, yes, we still have had a lot of people who have written offers on houses virtually. They've never seen the house, they've never seen the neighborhood, and they still have to come to town to drive around, get a good look at it. So virtual showings, by far, like very common, especially after COVID. And really, however you want it, we can do it. Like if you want a FaceTime walkthrough or a Zoom walkthrough, or you want us to go through the entire place, record it and put it in video so you can watch it as much as you want, we can do all of that. And between all of us, Madison, Kelly, Tracy, Mo, I feel like Madison and Kelly have done the most virtual showings with their clients, but I swear, like all of us, we will jump over that fence to go see the neighbor's yard. We will crawl through the crawl space. We will get the cell phone and put it into the air ducts, like whatever you want to see, we will show you everything in that house virtually. We will point out every single red flag that even comes to mind. Like I swear, every time we're doing a virtual showing, it's like we open the door, we walk in, and we're just like spilling every thought that comes to mind. If it has a weird smell, if the ceiling looks warped, if it feels weird walking around, if the floors are uneven, like we will tell you all those details that you can't get just from watching a video. Now, going off of that, remote closings and virtual closings. Again, since COVID, this has become much more common, way more normal. Honestly, I feel like it's more common for people moving out of state to close virtually than to actually close in St. Louis, because a lot of times they're still packing stuff up back home and getting the U-Hauls ready. So virtual closing is not a problem. You just have to make sure that when we're getting things finalized, we schedule things well in advance, and we have to check with the lender and the title company just to make sure and double check and triple check that we're good on paperwork and having everything notarized and sent overnight. Not an issue whatsoever. Again, like really, really common, especially since COVID. Now the next question, okay, so what if, you figured out the right area, the right suburb that you want to live in, but you still don't know anyone in St. Louis? Again, that is what we're here for. We've got you covered. We will put you in touch with local lenders, local contractors, anyone that you need, whether it's help getting a mortgage, painting the walls, getting a job. We have connections, that is what we're here for. We got you covered when you're moving to St. Louis. We can even get your kids on the soccer team before school starts. This literally just happened. Kelly was helping me out with some clients. They had a daughter in high school that was actually going to the same high school as Kelly's son, and she happens to know the football coach there who knows the soccer coach. So she hooked him up. They got their daughter on the soccer team before school even started. And that's the thing where I don't have kids, but there's 5 of us on this team. Like, I know I'm the only one on the YouTube videos, but this is not a one-man show. There are 5 of us together. We all have very different professional backgrounds and connections, where if I don't know someone or I don't have the right connection, one of us absolutely does. Every single time, that's why we work together. Like, we are one kind of collective real estate team. We're partners. That's why it works very well, because we have the connections to get you a job, get you a contractor, get your kids put in the right school, on the right sports team. Those are the most common examples of, helping people get connections here. That's what we do pretty much all day, every day. So we love it. It is not a one-man show. It is me with 4 badass women. We help each other out on every transaction, every client. It is a team effort to get these deals done. And I love what I do and who I do it with. That's the best way I can put it. Finding the right area and finding the right suburb can be tough, but you still don't know people. So that can be the one thing that makes it still feel like this foreign city if you're moving here and you don't have friends or you don't have connections. So we try really hard to do that with all of our past clients, all of our friends, family, and professional connections. It really comes together, especially like all of our past clients are phenomenal because they've moved here and they've been in your shoes. They've come from out of state, not known anyone, and we've helped a lot of people just get a job, get settled in their neighborhood, and just make some friends because it's a new city and we want it to feel less overwhelming for you. Now, the next question, if you're moving here, this comes up a lot. Should you rent for a year? Should you buy right off the bat? How do you navigate that? Because really what we've found, and this is feedback from our clients, neither one of those, situations seems ideal, right? Signing a year-long lease and wasting a year's worth of money on renting, or coming into St. Louis and buying something right off the bat in a city that you're not super familiar with. So what we've done a lot is do a short-term Airbnb. Do it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever you have to do. Because yes, it will be more expensive on a per month basis. And yes, you're gonna have to figure out storage for your furniture and all that kind of stuff. But it will get you very acclimated to St. Louis because it does not take 12 months to really get your bearings in St. Louis. And it makes it a lot easier as far as coming here, being in a temporary housing situation for 3 months, not 12 months of renting and then moving into your house. If you really want to, you can do 3 months in 3 different Airbnbs for 1 month each in a different part of town to really get a sense of how these different areas compare. If you want to do that multiple times, that is not a bad decision whatsoever. And that way, it's kind of like you're not moving twice, where if you move into a rental for a year and then move into your house after that, it's more like just doing temporary housing for a month or a couple months. That way, you're not paying for 2 moves and moving stuff in and out of storage multiple times. It seems to make things a lot easier if that's the route you want to take. Just a suggestion. We've had people do this a couple different ways, but the short-term rental seems to be one that people usually like because it's a good balance, right? You're not waiting 12 months, but you're not coming in hot and buying a house right off the bat. So it's a good medium for a lot of people. Now, finally, what is the market like? Because a lot of people are very intimidated. Is it still crazy? Are we going into a recession? What is it looking like right now in St. Louis? So it is much more balanced than the market was a year ago. So it really depends. Some situations, houses can still be competitive with multiple offers. Across the board, it's much more chill, it's much more mellow than it was a year ago. So things have slowed down, and that's been great for buyers who've been able to get contracts accepted, go under contract without all the madness that we had a year ago. But things are not moving as quickly as they were last year. So for sellers, it's a different market to navigate. But we're not in a crash, we are not in a recession. Is that in the future? Interest rates are rising. We've seen the yield curve invert several times. So, it is going to be what it's going to be. But with interest rates going up, definitely there are fewer buyers in the market. But for everyone who is, stuck between renting and buying, people are sometimes deciding to buy right now and then refinance later on. Some people are deciding to rent and then wait it out. There is no right or wrong answer. It's up to you. And then for our sellers, it's really just, you have to fine tune everything in the listing, from staging, photography, pricing, and timing the day that you go on the market and the day that you start showings and review offers. It's just much more fine-tuned, whereas last year, it's like you could throw anything on the market and it would sell. These days, it's easier for buyers, not as easy as it was last year for sellers, but we're still, having people come into town every week, every month, contracts accepted. So it's a great market right now. So we're still enjoying it. So really, no complaints. It's been good. It's been, a nice break from the madness we had last year. So things have been good right now. But again, buying versus renting, a lot of it is just up to you and what you think is right for you and your family. So again, if you're moving here, if you want some help with that process, send us an email, send us a text. That is always what we're here for. We are here to help. We are your boots on the ground. So let's get in touch if you want to work together. Until then, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you take care. Have a phenomenal day, and I'll catch you in the next video on the Living St. Louis channel.